This is System Software and Compiler Lab Exercise number 7. So in this exercise we are going to see predictive parser. We are going to write a C program to parse a given string using non-recursive predictive parsing for a given grammar. Recursive descendant is a top-down parsing technique that constructs the parse tree from the top and the input is read from the left to right. It uses procedures for every terminal and non-terminal entity. This parsing technique recursively parses the input to make a parse tree, which may or may not require backtracking, but the grammar associated with it cannot avoid backtracking. A form of recursive descendant parsing that does not require any backtracking is known as predictive parsing. This parsing technique is regarded recursive as it uses context-free grammar, which is recursive in nature. So you can see the hierarchy here: top down, recursive descendant, backtracking and non-backtracking, and under that we have predictive parser and then LL parser. Now let's see how we can write a C program to get this predictive parser. So I've written a C program here. As you can see, I have included all the header files that are need to be done, and I've also defined a few values which will not change throughout the program. I have a character variable called lxme, that is and then it contains the value maximum as the parameter, and then there's something called buffer, and it is also an array, character array, which contains size as its parameter. And we have there are many integer values called last character as well as last entry, and there are many other integer variables that are being declared here. Then we have a structure that is called entry. The name of the structure is entry, and in that we have a pointer variable lex pointer, and then also an integer value that is token, and then a symbol table, and then it is given an array of 100 array, and then also we have another structure called entry inside the structure, and there also the keyword variable is being predefined there, that is all of the values are being given for if, else, for, int, float, double, character, structure, return, etc. And the structure it is being closed and it is followed by a semicolon. Now we have another function called error message, which actually returns, or which actually has a parameter, and the parameter is a pointer variable. So what it does is it prints the line and then it returns the value 1. Then we have some function called lookup, and there we have a for loop and an if statements which actually checks for the condition. And then again we have another function called insert, which is used for inserting the symbols into the symbol table. And as you can see, if the last entry plus 1 is greater than or equal to maximum, then it gives a message called symbol table is full, or otherwise it says lexme's array is full. Then accordingly the symbols are being pushed into the symbol table. And then we have lexer, that is inside the lexer we have declared 2 variables, and also by using a while loop we actually assign the value of get character function to the variable t by using a simple if condition, that is if t is equal to nothing or if t is equal to simply a space, then else if it is equal to a next new line, then what happens is the line number will become line number plus 1. Then again else if it is a digit, that is the t value, if it is a digit, then what happens is this it is being passed to the function ungetC, and also the value is being taken from the user. Otherwise if it is an alphabet, then if it is an alphanumeric number, and all of these cases are being checked here, and then the values are being inserted and into the symbol table. When it is end of file, that is EOF, it returns done. That means nothing, it is all done and over, there is nothing more than that. It is an end signal, and then the token value will become none. Then we have another function called match, which returns the value t. So what it does is if look ahead is equal to t, then look ahead will become the function of lexer. Then otherwise it will send an error message saying that there's a syntax error. Then we have another function called display, which has got 2 functions, that is 2 parameters, int t and t value. Here also few functions are checked, that is the operators. If t is equal to plus or minus or star or hash, then it says arithmetic operator or number or identifier and then token. That is, accordingly the condition is given. If it is an operator, it says it is an operator. If it is a number, then it says it's a number. If it says it's an ID, it says it's an identifier. If it is equal to, then otherwise if it is nothing, it is called other than these three, it is called a token. And then we have a function called f. So in this function we are using switch case, that is we are switch casing the look ahead. So if the case is bracket and if it is gonna match, then the match function is gonna be called. And then if it is num, then the display function will be called and the number and the token value will be provided as a parameter. Then if it is a ID, then display, in the display function we have ID and the token value which will be given as a parameter. And by default what it gives us a syntax error. Then we have another function called t. Here also we are using the switch case. So using switch case with the look ahead, and here also if t is equal to look ahead and if it is matching, then it displays t and none. Then again it continues ahead of it, it does not break from it. Then if t is still again is equal to look ahead, then it the function match is being called and the value that the parameter, the value that is being passed is look ahead. And then again the display function is called, that is t, and the none value is also being returned to it. Then by default it returns. Then we have another function called e. The similar function happens here. So these are all the variables that are actually defined. Then we have parser. So in the parser what exactly happened is the look ahead variable is actually assigned to the lexer function. So if when the look ahead is not equal to done, then our e function is being called. So as we saw, it is actually looped. So e function actually calls t function and t function actually calls f function. So once one function is called, they are automatically called as the functions are being executed one by one. So in the main function, as you can see, we have a character variable. That character variable is an array, and as you can see, the program of there are few outputs that are being given and the parser function is being evoked. So by this the program will get to an end. Now let's see how the output of this program looks like. So let's compile this program. Now let's run this program. a.out. As you can see here, at the end of the expression we'll have to place a semicolon. This is to denote that the expression has come to an end, and to terminate we'll have to press Ctrl Z. These are the basic outputs that are being given. So now let's give a simple expression, that is a plus b into c and semicolon. So as you can see, there's an identifier a, that is identifier a, b and c. These three are identifiers, and we have arithmetic operators like star and plus. Now maybe if you want to give another expression, say a plus b star c and hash e. So as you can see, all the identifiers are being identified, and also the arithmetic operators are also being identified here and they're being displayed. So this is how the predictive parser is being done. So this is the end of the experiment. Thank you.